Can this book help you find your family history? We're going to talk about that in this episode. Hello, fellow roadie. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Road to Your Family History. I really appreciate you joining me. Hey, listen, before we get down to business on the book review, please go down below, click on the subscribe button, the like button, and hit that bell icon too. What that will do is that will ensure that you get an email every time I post a new video. So you'll never miss out and you'll get everything just as soon as I post it. Thank you so much. This is the new and revised expanded version, second edition. Make sure you get that second edition if you get this book. Now, I have a link down below in the description that will take you directly to this revised and expanded edition of this book, so you make sure you get the very latest one. Now, that link may be an affiliate link, which means that if you purchase it using that link, I'll get a small commission. Now, that will not change the price you pay for this book whatsoever, but it will help to enable me to keep providing free resources such as this one. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Now, this is not a review of the FamilySearch.org website. Not at all. But we're going to have to talk about a little bit of the background information, especially if you're not familiar with it. Now, this site is run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the LDS Church, and they're referred to sometimes as the Mormons. Now, this might freak some people out because you do have to create an account when you go in to use this site. You give your name and email address. Now, like I said, this might freak some people out, but keep these couple things in your thoughts. First of all, you will not be visited by anybody from this church as a result of you using this site. Now, you might have people from the church that come knocking on your door, but it won't be because you have used this website. Not at all. I've used this for quite a while now, and that's never happened to me. The second thing you need to keep in mind is that you're not going to get emails, once again, telling you about their church and trying to get you to join their church. That's not going to happen. Now, you will get some emails from them about this site, from any databases they might have added to the site or any improvements they've made to the site. But if my memory serves, you could even go in there once you create your account and you can opt out of all emails from them. So there's that. Another thing to keep in mind, this site is entirely free. I mean, totally free, like they say in the commercials for tech software. Not just part of this site, but the entire thing is free. So that's a fantastic thing. Chapter 1, like so many books, is getting started. It's just an overview of the website to give you a high-level view of what they have and what they're going to talk about in the book. Chapter 2 is the Family Search Family Tree. This is the longest chapter, and it's a big part of this site, but not all of it by any stretch. Now, this is where you can, if you choose to, upload your family tree. So this will enable you to get hints based on the documents that they have on their site and other family trees that they have on this website. It'll tell you for something that they think can contribute to your family history there. Now, something very important to keep in mind, and the author does point this out several places in the book, that anybody using this site, anybody, will be able to see your family tree, and they'll be able to edit it and update it with new information without your approval or permission. Now, some people might not like that. As a matter of fact, let's discuss this a little bit. Even though anybody can see your family tree, they will not be able to see any names or personal information about living people. Now, I myself do not have my family tree on this site because I've done a good bit of research over the last 30 plus years, and I just don't want people to go in and edit it. They can contact me if they want, to say, hey, I have this information about a family member, so that way I can vet it myself just to make sure it's accurate. Because if someone just goes in to update it or change it, I don't know if they're providing good information or bad information. It's just impossible to tell. But please keep in mind that you don't have to use this on that website. And if you choose not to use it on that website, there's so much other things on this website that you can use that can be very helpful. Chapter 3 will be searching and browsing historical records. This will give tips and strategies for finding the billions, just billions with a B, of people that are in their historical records that they have on that site. The next chapter, chapter 4, will be searching genealogies, the catalog, and books. Now, this will talk about finding information in the tons of digitized books and in previous databases that the church used to record ancestors. Chapter 5, U.S. Census Records. Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory, but if you want a more detailed explanation about what census information is available here and on other sites, please see part 2 of my video series called Genealogy Research in the U.S. Census. This link will be in the description below once that video is posted. As of the date I'm posting this right now, it's not, but take a look at the description below, and if that video is up, you will see it, the link to it, in the description. So take a look. Chapter 6 is U.S. Vital Records. Now, this will give an overview of the birth, marriage, and death records that they have available on that site. And these are essential records for doing genealogy research. And something I should point out here, for all of these different records that they have on this site, there is no site in the world that has all the available records, no matter what they are. In this case, vital records. This site doesn't have all the vital records that have been created in the United States. No site does. Ancestry.com is a huge one, but they don't have all of them either. So keep that in mind. This is a vital resource, and there's lots of good stuff there, but there's just not going to be everything possible. Chapter 7 is U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Records. Records created when your ancestors came into the United States and when they went through the naturalization process, which could have been, which usually was not immediately upon arrival, but could have been years, perhaps several years after they've arrived. So these are great records too, and they have some of those. Chapter 8, U.S. Military Records. Once again, on different wars, and once again, not all of the military records that are available everywhere, but they have some. Chapter 9 is the U.S. Probate and Court Records. Records that are generated when someone passes away, when their estate goes through probate, or it might be their wills or inventory of their goods. And other records that may have been generated, and I've found this for a few of my ancestors, where the heirs have disputed how the estate is being divided up. So they go to court to possibly get changed what was actually in the will of that person. Chapter 10, European Records. Now, of course, the U.S. records are the vast majority of what this site has, but they also have European records. Now, in some other sites, like Ancestry.com, which is a great site, by the way, but you pay a certain amount of money to get a subscription to see their U.S. records, but then you pay an additional fee to see their records that are outside the United States, including European records. But once again, this whole site is free. Now, Chapter 11 is global records. This just means other locations throughout the world. It could be Canada, Mexico, Central America, Asia, and even some from Africa. So they have some of those also. Chapter 12, more historical records, just other miscellaneous records that they have that don't fall under one of the previous categories. And Chapter 13 is accessing records at family history centers and affiliate libraries. Now, what are family history centers? Well, these are actually, I would call them small libraries that are actually at some of the churches throughout the country where they have resources for finding your family history. And you don't have to belong to the church to use this. Back in the day, I used to use this more, because really the only way you could access their records is by ordering a microfilm from Salt Lake City, and then it comes to the local family history center, and then you could look at it at their microfilm readers in the family history center. Now, they've converted just about all of their records that they've had on microfilm to digital. I don't know if they've quite done all of them yet, but if it's not all of them, it's a huge amount of them. And now when they access these records by their missionaries they send out all over the world, they're not using microfilm, but they're digitally making copies of those records now so that they don't have to convert them later. And I'm sure it's a lot easier to do it digitally than through microfilm. They talk about these affiliate libraries too. They do have arrangements with certain libraries to be able to provide their information. Now, I should say that all of the records that they have are not necessarily available on your computer from home. Some of them you have to go to one of the family history centers or affiliate libraries to take a look at it. I'm not sure exactly why. It's agreement they have, I guess, with the people who own the original records. But there are times when that happens. And I should say, as of the filming of this video, which is in late May 2021, the family history centers are not open because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, will that be changing soon? It might. By the time you see this video, they might be up. I would go on to their website to double check to see if they're available. As a matter of fact, if you go into the familysearch.org website right now, because they're closed, you'll see a banner on top of the website that explains that they are closed right now because of the pandemic. So if you go onto the site and you don't see that banner, well, then those family history centers are probably open. They have knowledgeable people there. And once again, if you go in to use one of these family history centers, open to everybody. They will not tell you about their religion. They will not try to get you to join the church. That has never happened to me. There might be a table off to the side there where they have some literature that you can pick up if you like, but I've never been approached by them to talk about their religion. So don't worry about that. What's my conclusion about this book? Is it worth getting? Well, certainly I would give a resounding yes. As a matter of fact, I would say it's one of those books that is almost a must-have for anybody doing family history research. Now, actually, I got this book not too long ago, maybe about a month or two ago. Why did I get this book? Because I haven't been using that website so much. Because like I said, back in the day, you had to order microfilms and go into the Family History Center to see it. But since they've digitized a lot of these records, oh man, this site is a must visit for anybody doing family history research. Now, you can just go into the site on your own and play around with it and see what you can do. But if you have this, I would consider this a user's manual for this site. Although this says unofficial guide to familysearch.org, because the Family Search people did not put this out. But Man, it's a great user's manual to get you going in the right direction. Makes it so much easier to use this site and get the most out of it. That's all I have for you today, folks. Thank you so much for joining me, and come around and see me next time on the road to your family history.